Hi, my name is Bethany Jackman, and I'm going to show you how I make my own family yearbooks using Photoshop. This book covers 2009 and 2010, and I'm almost finished making 2011, but it is currently January 2017, so I have a lot of catching up to do. I like to make 12 by 12 books, and when I've completed a year, I print it using Blurb, who I've loved. I make super basic pages with mostly just pictures and text. I like to make my own because it gives me more creative flexibility than using something like Blurb software, which is a great alternative. I obviously use lots of photos and I occasionally add backgrounds, illustrations, or decorative things, but I'm so far behind that I don't have time to make my pages too fancy. So I'm going to show you how to make these super basic pages using Photoshop CS6. Here we go. On the left you'll see some of the pages that I've made for 2011, and I just save them all in one folder and I number them chronologically. And then on the right, I'm going to drag in the 4 photos that I'm going to use for this example page. And so the first step is to choose the photos you want to put on the page. And I'm just going to drag them into Photoshop. These are 4 random photos from our trip to Utah this Thanksgiving. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to create a 12 by 12 image, and so I go to File, New, and I want it to be really big so I have lots of pixels to work with, so I'm going to do about 3000 by 3000 at a 300 pixels per inch resolution, and that creates my blank page. I actually like to save it right off the bat, and I add a number to it. So but for this example, let's just call it 001 Thanksgiving 2017. Okay, the next thing that I do is I like to turn on the grid. And so to show the grid, you hit Command apostrophe, or you can go to View, Show Grid. And I also like to have the snap turned on so that the images will snap to the grid. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is create a new layer, and in that layer we're going to create the box that the photo will go in. So you select the marquee tool and get the rectangular marquee tool, and you're going to create your approximate shape for your photo. I like to fill the shape with a gray color, so I'm going to choose a light gray, and then I'm going to grab my paint bucket and fill it in. Then I deselect my shape, Command D, and if I need to reshape this, I can do Command T to reshape as needed, and then hit Enter. Okay, I'm just going to use this exact same rectangular shape for all 4 of my photos. So I'm going to duplicate this layer, and it's sitting on top of that box, so I'm going to drag it to the right. Now I have 2, so I can duplicate both of those. So I can select both of these layers and duplicate them and drag them down below. So now I just have 4 rectangles for my 4 photos. Okay, so I'm going to select my first photo, which, let's do the family image. So I select the photo and then move that down. Command A will select the photo, and then I'm going to copy it. Command C, and I'm going to paste it on top of the layer of the rectangle that I want to use. So this is the rectangle that I want to use, and I'm going to just paste it, and it'll just go right on top, and it's super big, but I'm going to create a clipping mask. So I'm going to right click on the photo, and it's going to clip to the rectangle below it. So I'm going to say create clipping mask, and now it's connected to that rectangle, but I need to resize and reshape my huge picture to fit inside the rectangle. So I hit Command T to resize it, and then as I resize it, I have to press Shift the entire time so that the photo doesn't become distorted. So I hold Shift down and then I resize the photo. To put it into the rectangle. And then I hit enter. Okay, and I can hit Command apostrophe to see it with or without the grid. Looks good, so I'm going to do that to all 4 photos. Let's do this one next. This is Cousins. I'm going to select the photo, copy it, go to my page, find the rectangle I want, paste it on top, create a clipping mask, select the photo, and resize while pressing Shift. Enter. Let's do it again. Select the photo, copy, paste it onto that rectangle, create a clipping mask, and reshape, resize the photo. Okay, last one. Select, copy, new, let's see, top layer, paste. Oh, I gotta do my clipping mask. Okay, and then Command T to reshape, and I'm holding Shift as I resize it. Okay, so I've got all my photos in there, and if you know how to create clipping masks, then you can do almost anything to this page. Now, the only thing I really need to do now is add some text. So I'm going to create a new layer that will sit above all the photos, and I'm going to hit T or select this text tool. And let that load. Okay, I've got, let's see, I can select my font. Okay, it's being super slow. And the size of my font and the color of my font. I'll just stick with black. And I can just click anywhere on top where I want it, and I'm gonna say Thanksgiving in Utah. And looks good, except that I do want to center it, and how I do that is I select my text layer and the background layer at the same time. I hold Command while selecting those together, and then I press V on my keyboard, and I can like align my text, and I'm going to select this one to align it to the center. And then I'll select just the text layer, and using my arrow keys, I'll bring it down. Okay, and then one more text layer to go below here. If I wanted to write a paragraph, I would turn back my grid on and create a text box. So with the T tool, I'm going to hold and drag that cursor to create a text box, and then I can make my font smaller, and I like to put in the date, but for this I don't know exactly the date. It was November something. I'll just say we had a great time with cousins in Utah. I'm usually a lot more detailed than that, but and then that's it. And so super simple. I like to save it twice. So the first save that I do is a Photoshop file, PSD file, so that if I ever need to make any changes, I can come back and change anything. So I'll save it as a PSD first. And then once it's saved as a PSD, I save it as a JPEG. And the JPEG is what I will eventually print. So that'll be like my final save. And so I have two copies, a PSD and a JPEG. And if I ever need to change anything, then I can go back and save over those two copies. That is it. That's basically all I do. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment or email me. Thank you so much for watching.